I've been very fortunate enough to swim with a whole bunch of humpback whales on the Sardine run as well as up in northern KZN. I was just, most of the time I'm out freediving myself and a couple of people all by myself. And the whales happen to just come along. And so you see them in the distance and then you sort of anticipate when they're going to dive, and if they dive down, then I try and sort of intersect with them. I dive down, 10, 12, 15 meters, and they'll come past. I've had calves, very inquisitive, swim up to me, have a look at me, and then the mum will come along and just sort of make a sound, and then the calf will come back to mum, and then she'll position herself between me and the calf just to make sure that she's protecting her calf. And this maternal instinct is phenomenal. Where some whales, I was diving down to see a bait ball, and the whales came past, and it saw me. It did a barrel roll in front of me. It knew exactly where I was. It lifted its pectoral fin. It was so close, I pulled my GoPro away, and it lifted the pectoral over me, and it continued. It didn't hit me with its tail, nothing like it. It knew exactly where I was. I made eye contact with that whale. It was a surreal experience again, just connecting with those mammals that live in the ocean. I distinctly remember swimming up in northern KZN, way out in the ocean, again freediving, and this calf swam up to me, and then the mum followed it, and it had another sub-adult, looked like a female. It was difficult to say. It was smaller. It wasn't as small as the calf, but there were three of them, two adults and then the calf. And I swam behind them, literally 5 meters from them. They were completely chilled, relaxed with me being there. I was just swimming along, trying to keep up with the turbulence of those huge, big tails pushing the water behind them. And again, not perturbed by my presence at all. They were probably inquisitive as to what is this being in the water that's non-threatening, just swimming along with humpback whales. Again, an unreal experience that one should feel privileged to be able to experience things like this. And again, I think the opportunity is, as freedivers, we immerse ourselves into that environment without the noise and technology of the modern world. One time on the Sardine, the annual Sardine run down on the Transkei on our east coast of South Africa, there were a whole bunch of males all interacting together and completely oblivious to us on the boat. So I jumped in and the boat drifted off, and these males were all sort of cavorting and jumping in the water. And actually at one point, I was so excited, I didn't even film it. I was just looking at them, and they were jumping and falling really close to me. And I was a little concerned that they might fall on me, but I think they knew exactly where I was, and they just weren't perturbed by my presence. And again, this phenomenal privilege to be able to interact with these beings in the ocean, and these huge big humpbacks were sort of they do this sort of bellow as they let air out of the hole on top of their heads. It's just this roar, and one doesn't feel intimidated. You're just inspired by this, that they completely accept you in their presence. And again, for me, this wonderful experience of being able to share the ocean with these whales that have migrated from Antarctica all the way up to follow the females up into the warmer coastlines of our areas in southern Mozambique and northern KZN, to be able to experience this with them and to share this ocean with them is, again, one of the privileges we have as human beings. With these humpbacks, apparently they've got specific pods have specific songs that they can all understand. We call them whale songs, but it's probably the language with which they communicate. And I've on many occasions just dived down, and the deeper you get, the more the sound reverberates within your body. And so on the surface, you don't really hear it as much as if you're 10 meters, and if you're 20 meters down, it's even louder. And it is an unbelievable experience again, just to dive down and just hang in that water column and you know that they're somewhere out there. You don't know how far, but it sounds like they're right in front of you. And I wish I could understand whale language, because it might make us understand the whales far better than merely observing them, what they do. And mostly whales flee from humans. What has been interesting me over the last 7-8 years is that the whales, certain pods, certain individuals in those pods have become more curious about humans. And maybe this is just the older ones who have been hunted previously are wary, but the new generation are inquisitive, because whaling is no more, certainly not in Southern Africa. And so maybe there's an interest and an intrigue as to what are these humans in this little bobbing boat on the surface doing, and wanting to see them. And so again, these humpbacks, it's just, we feel we should be very privileged in South Africa that we're part of their migration route.